eSports, we have draft ready, so let's go ahead and hop into it right now and start all this action. It's going to be GankStars Vega, starting off with the ban here, and kind of set this pace against Noble eSports. They want to take Taka out here, so what does that spell to you?
Well, taking Taka out of the picture, I feel like they want to grab themselves a very squishy composition. Like, it fits really well into, like, what they're trying to accomplish, especially when securing what they need.
All right, well, Noble eSports taking their time here. They're going to take out the Scarf. Don't want to deal with that Scarf.
Well, the thing here is, like, you have that Scarf coming out, and co-eds is a great Scarf. But I feel like by grabbing this Glaive first, they are going to be trying to leave that Ringo for second pick. And it works out a lot for Vega in terms of, like, their playstyle, their approach to the game, and how dominant they want to be in that early game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen time and time again that composition. They can just get on your face and just eat you alive. But it's going to be Fortress Adagio here, so this is an aggressive style buff comp that's starting to take shape here. I mean, how do you think they round that out? Something like a Vox, or do you see something different?
I do feel a Vox is going to fit in really well for Noble eSports here, should Ringo not be available. Especially when you're going up against a Glaive, you want to be able to reflex block and then start cutting right away. Let's help with your team because, you know, with the addition of Fortress and Adagio, they have that power to really, like, push the limit of who they can burst down very quickly.
Yeah, that does make sense. And Arden going to be the pickup, and then they'll quickly follow up with a Sky here. So you got that.
Sad here. Like, I was talking about Ringo for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, Ringo. Well, Noble eSports, they could always go Ringo if they wanted, but I mean, we kind of keyed in on that Vox pretty early. Well, they're highlighted on the Ringo. They might pull the trigger on it here.
Yeah, but I kind of want the Ringo on the other team. If they pick up this Ozo, I'll be so happy.
Oh, they're teasing us. Don't tease me, please me. Give me some Ozo. All right, well, it's going to be Ringo. Obviously, there's a lot of potential here. High damage output with this combination. Do you favor one side over the other just looking at the draft?
Looking at the draft here, I do feel like Noble eSports has that power, especially in the early game to do a lot of quick rotations. However, look for this Glaive to be making a lot of ganks up on that lane. He's going to be trying to pick up Ringo as much and as often as possible. And should he get those early afterburns before the reflex block is bought, you know, things will really turn the tide on the side of Noble eSports.
Definitely. I mean, when it comes to Glaive ganking this Ringo in lane, it reminds me of one of my favorite bands, early and often. That's what he needs to do right there. Guys, we've loaded into the Halcyon Fold, so let's go ahead and jump into this game right now. And with that, we'll go ahead and throw it over to our casters, who are going to be Jump and Sona. Take it away, guys.
Well, hello and welcome to the Halcyon Fold. I'm Sona, I'm joined by Jump, and we are here for the first game between GankStars, Vega, and Noble eSports. We do see what looks like going to be a Glaive actually going into the lane here for GankStars Vega, so not going to be that jungle Glaive we expected. However, we are going to see Sky go for that Crystal Power build from the jungle.
Yeah, this is a very surprising difference. We were talking about this beforehand, we were expecting that Glaive actually to go off into the jungle because it's going to be very reliant on this GankStars Vega squad to get some kind of early pressure into it. We heard Rome talk about it on the analyst test, the ability to have these quick rotations, to have this just very strong composition that we have with this buff Ringo comp coming out of Noble eSports. There's a lot on the line here.
Speaking of quick rotations, we already see Coeds putting the pressure down onto Ricego as he has to back away from that jungle shop. He does take about half his HP, but should be able to survive for now. And 3 members of both the teams in the jungles already. We will see Chicken123 just go up back towards the lane, start farming himself up. Of course, giving that extra gold to Chicken123 does mean he'll be able to get those early game weapon power spikes a lot quicker. You can get the Sorrow Blade, you know, build up towards that really damaging Glaive, but does need to be careful because Ricego is in the bush at the moment.
Yeah, they're waiting around, but Best Check NA has a great little counter jungle right there. Gonna make sure that he's there for the counter gank just in case Ricego wants to get cheeky with it. And I really like this decision by Noble to keep this pressure on the lane because this is forcing Best Chuck NA to keep his rotations towards there, and it stalls the aggression getting onto Uni because we saw yesterday, for example, in the round of 32, what happens when you can successfully put pressure on that Adagio player because of their squishy jungle. But now it's Xenotech.
Yeah, Afterburn comes on to Xenotech and they will take him down. Uni was a little bit late to the party there. GankStars Vega will take the first kill of the game.
Gonna take the first kill, and wow, we talked about how much early pressure they needed. Nice little job to pick up a kill onto Xenotech. Keeping down that Ringo as long as humanly possible is what's going to put GankStars Vega in a good spot. And that's what both of these teams need, because they both have very solid rosters. They both have a lot of expectations, but we saw in the last qualifier, neither one of these teams performed to the level that we expected. So there is a lot for both of these to finally live up to those expectations that we first held for them.
Yeah, and something we've seen from a few teams over the last day or so is when you get to sort of this level 5, level 6, you start putting your Adagio back up into the lane and get your Ringo in the jungle because you want to be aggressive. You want to use that early weapon power to do as much damage as you can. Adagio will scale up a lot better into the late game with the crystal power, so I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of minutes we see Xenotech coming down here with Ricego through the jungle, trying to put the pressure onto GankStars Vega as they go towards their camps.
Yeah, and I want to also look to see what co-eds can do in this game. We saw in the very last game, or one of the last games in the EU region, what happens when you can use that mechanical prowess that a good player on a Sky can provide. And a lot of that is going to pretty much make or break this team, because if you look at the composition that they have lots of tools, lots of abilities to help out co-eds with that Sky and allow her to reposition herself appropriately into these team fights. And so if they're able to consistently do that and make sure that these fights go their way and Sky co-eds can position himself appropriately, then that's where good things are going to happen for GankStars Vega.
Yeah, most definitely. I think one of the weaknesses for Noble Esports here is they really only have one stun on their side. They've got the Verse of Judgment coming out from that Adagio, and apart from that, don't really have any way of locking down the enemy team. So they're going to struggle as we get towards this team fighting stage against the Afterburn, against the Death from Above, against the Gauntlets as well. To be able to win out in these fights, they're going to have those early reflex blocks, going to have to get that Crucible as well to be able to just counter out this team coming up from the side of GankStars Vega. Coeds almost gets caught out, but should be able to run his way back towards his turret here. The Vanguard will come in from Best Chuck and A, and they will survive for now.
I like, sorry, let me correct myself. I love this aggressive posturing that we're seeing coming out of Noble, because they're basically taking the strategy that GankStars should be implementing and doing it themselves. Because if they can consistently apply this pressure and allow the scaling of both Ringo as well as this Adagio to play into effect, then their composition is just going to do very well as we get to the later stages of this game.
Most definitely. GankStars Vega trying to put a bit of positional play down in this game. They will go and just get those items at the shop now. And we see Noble Esports trying to pressure towards this turret, but not going to be able to do much there. It's kind of just stalled out ever so slightly as GankStars Vega start to position themselves for the next portion of this game. Ricego will take a lot of damage. Death from Above comes down to stun him up, but that Fortress should be able to retreat just for the moment because the rest of Noble Esports have joined the fray.
They're coming back into it now, and I'm bewildered to see, or not bewildered, I'm more of intrigued to see what's going to happen in the next couple minutes, because this is where you're starting to hit those spikes, this is where you're starting to hit those points of aggression, and once the level 6 ultimates become available, Noble Esports has a big opportunity to make some plays.
They do have to expect to see them making plays, probably towards the gold miner in the next couple of minutes. There's almost up to half on that fully mined stack, and now Coeds tries to push forwards in the lane. There are 3 members of GankStars Vega here. They've started to get towards those item spikes, and they're trying to put this pressure down in the enemy jungle. Level 6 on Coeds means that Death from Above stun is available. Adagio has got level 7 though, and Uni now caught out here by Chicken123. Not going to quite get the damage down with that forward barrage. Position off towards the side, but the Afterburn is superbly placed, and Uni will go down. A good kill there by GankStars Vega. And
a lot of this happened because of the lack of vision control that the members of Noble Esports had. They have no flare guns, no scout traps in their inventory. They haven't prioritized that vision control at all. And as a result, this just brute force 3-man charge coming out of GankStars Vega have proved so worth. With the 1.17 changes, having that vision is indubitably important in trying to find some kind of success, especially in the earlier stages of this game. So if the members of Noble Esports are going to want to come out of this early game alive, they need to make sure to try to acquire some kind of vision control.
That they do. They have managed to take the enemy minion miner off the map for now. They will go back towards the fountain as well. And now GankStars Vega positioning around this gold miner. Chicken123 will go back up towards the lane. Just waiting to see how they want to fight this one out. Of course, Uni with that level 7 does have the Verse of Judgment, can get the stun down, but needs to be a little bit careful. Of course, Afterburn is available for Chicken123, so he can just try and escape. And the minion mine is counter-captured there by GankStars Vega, so not a long advantage for them at all.
Not at all, and we're starting to get some nice little item buys. We've got Fountain Renewal completed onto Best Chuck and A, as well as another one completed for Ricego. So having a little bit of extra sustain into these fights as well. We can see Xenotech finishing up that Sorrow Blade. So he's going to have those those empowered auto attacks to help through with these fights. So now we're starting to get that big item spike that the members of Noble are wanting before they can fight. But with no reflex box out quite yet, this could be a big opportunity for the members of GSV to do something big.
Most decidedly. Of course, Noble eSports do have the opportunity to win out these fights as well. They've got a good level 6 composition with the Hellfire Brew, with the Verse of Judgment as well. Adagio very strong as you get later into the game, and we have that Solar Blade completed as well on Xenotech. Gonna try and put the damage down on Spestjakane, who should be able to retreat, but Coeds might not escape. He pops the death from above down and will manage to get the slow onto Uni. Uni there with Chicken 123 as well, and now Xenotech on the retreat. Gauntlet comes down, Spestjakane's gone very low, as is Chicken 123, but Uni is gonna have to put the Verse. Here it comes, he's gonna try and get the kill down. Spestjakane is very low. Raisko is going to fight Chicken 123 down towards the bottom side and will get the kill. But Uni all by himself against 2 should not survive this. He manages to get 1. He manages to get 2. What a play by Uni as he picks up 2 and they go 3 for 1 in that trade.
It started off as a disastrous situation for Noble eSports, but Uni's stellar ability to kite through, the ultimate stunned up the perfect amount of members, and an unbelievable job by Noble eSports to get themselves a very early set of kills, and now they're going to be able to get this gold mine as well. Have a pretty immense payout, 300 gold, going to be able to help them out. So that early game that we were foreseeing them to struggle in is now been turned right around on the back of this Uni carry.
Nice, decidedly. And what I like about Uni as well is he got the tension bow. He had the bits of his item. He wasn't quite at the completed alternating current, but had the bits and was able just to kite backwards really well to pick up the kill. Of course, Agent of Wrath, that B ability really helps him out with that, giving him those empowered auto attacks, but almost really should have gone down. You have to think GankStars Vega perhaps not playing that one perfectly and did lose out in the fight. And the gold lead goes across towards Noble eSports for the first time in the game. They're about 1,500 ahead, and they have a good opportunity here to start solidifying their advantage in this game.
And you've also got a fantastic CS advantage from Xenotech over Chicken. He's sitting at about 11 CS advantage, and that's a great spot for him to be in, because with this Ringo, he's been able to acquire these item spikes a lot faster. We already talked about the Sorrel Blade. He now has the reflex block available as well. So this scaling and this just huge mid-game power that we are going to be able to see coming out of Noble eSports got expedited that much more due to their ability to efficiently farm throughout the earlier stages of this match.
We do have the Frostburn on that Sky, though, so Coeds is going to be able to kite backwards pretty well with that Charade Strike as well. Of course, Sky, one of the most mobile heroes in the game. Shiver Steel's been picked up on Glaive as well, so if this GankStars Vega team catches you out, you're never going to escape. But at the moment, Noble eSports are the ones who are trying to do a catch. They're trying to take the turret here in the lane, and they should be able to pick up the first turret of the game. A couple more auto attacks would be enough, but it picks up that shield again, and they do just have to back away for now.
Yeah, they're backing away, but the inevitable is coming out. Coeds was forced to rotate from the jungle around to kind of defend that turret. That turret is sitting very low on that health, but now is a big opportunity, like what we mentioned, for the members of Noble eSports to really start to strike. Alternating current completed onto Uni, so they've got the tools necessary to be able to get something done. Xenotech, because he has that early reflex block, he's able to mitigate that crowd control and try to get a little bit more DPS off in these fights, but his positioning is going to have to improve for that to happen. He's 0-2-1. He hasn't been in the best spots throughout the entirety of these fights, and if he's wanting to get his damage off and make his hero useful, it's going to rely on having some better positioning in those fights.
Definitely, and trying to work out positioning at the moment in these plays, because GankStars Vega have a lot of experience at this sort of high level of play. They know what they're doing. They know how to come back from behind. Raisko will go in, but take a lot of his health, and there comes the Gauntlet as well. Going to put a lot of pressure down onto Xenotech, but he manages to escape. And now, Burst of Judgment locks down 3 members of GankStars Vega. This is a great fight for Noble eSports. They pick up 1. Going to try and turn onto Coeds as well. Not quite able to take him down, but the Burst of Judgment was gorgeous in that fight.
And it was as he was listening to us the entire time, because Xenotech, the second he was able to pop that reflex block after the gauntlet, he was able to come back. It forced Chicken to dive towards that backline. The members of Noble eSports were able to focus him down, and then they were able to capitalize, take the turret, and increase their advantage. This is where the members of Noble eSports can successfully win this game. It's moments like that. If Xenotech can make sure that this positioning keeps improving, if the members of Noble eSports can successfully kite back and force the members of GankStars Vega to overcommit, good things are bound to happen.
Definitely, they get an immense payout, almost 250 gold each there as well. Pushes them almost 4,000 gold in the lead. Only 12.5 minutes into this game. They've turned it on its head after looking like they were perhaps a little bit behind to that early pressure from side of GankStars Vega. Minion mine taken as well. Actually counter-taken there by GankStars Vega. They pick up their own now. Going to try and turn onto Coeds, who's not in the best of positions. Does have the Surrey strike, and he'll try and retreat, but he goes so low. Death from above will stun up too. They might try and turn this one, because Chicken 123 is coming in from the side. They decide against going all in, and now Noble Esports can regroup. They can reset themselves, and they've got that Hellfire Brew up as well on Xenotech, so can try and re-engage this fight.
I really like the strategy that we have coming out of Noble Esports, because not only were they able to take their advantage and push it into a very early turret, but they've also been able to very successfully starve out the jungle here for Coeds, because they're making sure that their minion wave pushes up, they can rotate down, take the jungle camps appropriately, and then use that advantage to just continuously build themselves out. But here comes the gauntlet.
The gauntlet does come down. Burst of Judgment's going to pop as well, and there, wow! As soon as Burst completes, they pick up 2 kills straight away. Chicken 123 has no energy, shouldn't be able to retreat from Riceco if he's able to get a slow down onto him. He's going to keep trying to run away. Riceco will decide not to go for it. Uni was a little bit too far behind. They're going to go for the turret instead. They might be able to pick up their second turret of the game here. It doesn't really look like Chicken 123 can do much about it. He's going to stay around perhaps for too long here, because there's a lot of damage coming out from Uni and Riceco, but they will back away. Starve out that jungle once again, as you were saying, Jump.
And that's exactly something that the members of GankStars Vega weren't able to do. If you allow this Adagio to just continuously farm himself up and put himself in a stellar position as you decide to transgress into the mid game, then the members of Noble eStars are most certainly going to succeed. They didn't show any kind of pressure early. GankStars Vega were way too passive. It allowed Uni to, like we said, farm himself up. Xenotech, even though his positioning hasn't been great, he's still been able to get off a decent amount of damage as they get into these fights. That's then allowed Uni to get a very stellar verse off. 2 instances now, 2 for 2 on that ultimate in those team fights. And as a result, Noble Esports is pretty handily carrying away this game.
Most definitely. Indubitably, you might say, Jump. And what they're going to do now is go for that gold miner. It will be their third of the game, and it doesn't really look like GankStars Vega can do much about it. Yes, it's not the biggest payout, but it's about denying that gold away from the enemy, especially with the Kraken spawning now as well. There she comes on to the fold, and Noble Esports will start to set up around this Kraken, trying to get the vision control where they can, seeing if they can get those scout perps down as well. Don't really have any at the moment, got those flares popping, and now they'll turn straight on towards the Kraken, so they see GankStars Vega are all the way back in their base, and this Kraken's going to fall very, very quickly here for Noble Esports.
Yeah, there's no way that the members of GankStars Vega can contest this objective. Kraken is able to go down very quickly, and Noble Esports is just primed on winning this game. We talked about how they didn't meet the expectations in the first qualifier, but just looking at their performance today, they've decided to sincerely improve their ability to work as a team, work as a unit. We haven't touched upon how well Riceco has performed in this game, but 204 is a very solid stat line that he's been able to accumulate. Getting that really early Fountain of Renewal and helping out his team with that utility, as now completing the Warhorn and helping their engage as well as their kite ability in these team fights is definitely proving worthwhile for this Noble Esports squad.
The really big thing for Noble Esports here is they have to fight around getting this turret. We see the Kraken already goes down for it. Death from above does get popped, but Noble Esports still quite healthy as the Kraken's going to go towards the second turret. Gauntlet is popped down. Riceco, the only member left inside that. They get the second turret. Now they're going to go for the third. The Kraken's almost down. Noble Esports should back away after this Kraken falls. They're going to try and turn on to Chicken 123. Another Death from above. Chicken 123 almost goes down. The Death from above will just about keep him alive. Xenotech low. The turret is regenning though. The Kraken's gone down and the turret will survive for now. Chicken 123, the only member left of GankStars Vega here. And it looks like Noble Esports will just about back away from this. They don't get the turret. It's got that shield back, but they do manage to pick up a couple of kills.
No, they're able to pick up the 2 turrets. They're able to pick up a couple extra kills, so that Kraken objective was most certainly worth it. And now they're going right back to the strategy that has put them in this position. They're going to rotate throughout the enemy jungle. They're going to make sure to take the minion mine as well as all of the camps and just completely and utterly starve out the members of GankStars Vega. The CS advantages that you got almost a 20 CS from Xenotech over Chicken, as well as the 84 to 77 Uni over Coeds, and that is just continuously because of their ability to aggress into the jungle, use that minion control in the lane to rotate around. And this is just putting themselves in such a prime position. Their teamwork has been something that you cannot downplay, because that ability to work as a unit and make decisions as a whole are what puts you in good positions. And this is the kind of play that will progress you through the qualifiers.
And we can see Noble Esports are going for the win here. They've got those infusions popped. We have double infusion on 2 of their members already, and GankStars, Vega trying to counter with their own, not managing to pick up quite as many. Only the single infusions across the board there, so now they are definitely on the back foot. Only that single turret left, as you said, with the shield available on it. Ricego being that aggressor once more, stepping forward. He's the one who's going to try and start off these fights. But look at the damage coming out from Xenotech. There comes the attack of the pack. Chicken 1, 2, 3 almost down already. Attack of the pack will be popped, but they're just going to focus on the turret. Now the Vein Crystal, the target. It's going to be an easy win here for Noble Esports. Great play by them. Great team composition and teamwork to choke the life out of GankStars Vega in this game.
I can't talk enough about how they made so many clear-cut decisions as a team, and they understood the strategy that they needed to employ. You could tell that immediately through Ricego's positioning as a roamer, where he applied the pressure, forcing Best Chuck NA to go around to respond and make sure that Uni was able to successfully and safely farm up in the earlier stages of the match. It allowed them to create the early advantage, and as a team, again, making those clear-cut decisions, moving around the map accordingly, it put them in a prime position. They were able to snowball that to a victory and a very solid, very handy Game 1 win here for the members of Noble Esports.
Great win by them. We're going to cast it over to our host Humanist and Rome to break it down and to tell us more about how they feel that game went.